Hey Hanuman Singh, are you there? Are you there? Okay, just you mute, right? Okay. Okay. So A, B, C, D, these are the investors, and these are the same investors you can see in the books of Infosys, and these are the investors in the books of State Street as well. So this is the State Street book, and you are working with the State Street. So this is the State Street book, and so you have received the dividend from the issuer, right? So there's okay. So what is the rule for dividend is? Suppose if you want the benefit of dividend, then so always you should place the trade before the X date. Before the date X date it means so X date minus 1 would be your entitlement date. You can even put here or else before than that, so that is fine. So trade should be placed before the X date and should be settled on or before record date. Hello, can you hear me? So now how it is? Is it still breaking? You can mute it. If you're not able to listen, then you can just raise it, mute it till the uh, discussion. Okay. So say this. The point is, so as per the rule of the corporate action is, so always you should place the trade before the X date, and trade should get settled on or before the record date. So it means so before the record date is this RD, and the X date is this. And A's date means the actual settlement date, or even you can see the ACD, uh, contractual settlement date. So this is something that is sometime even trade can settle on the T plus one the same way. So that trade called as like actual sorry, the contractual settlement date, and even you can call like the actual settlement date. Actual settlement date is your the record date, and some some companies even they call like the book close date as well. So keep a tab on it. So sometime they ask question like what is the difference between record date and BCD, book close date. So both are similar. There is no difference between the book close date and record date. Those dates are for accounting effects. Okay. So here, so once the record date pass, always we try to do the recon because as a corporate action team, so we need to have a reconciliation process in place to reconcile the positions, because on record date if you see all the trades has been settled. So these are the positions or these are the balances that you can see. So on a record date for a Infosys corporate action events, all the positions are there in the state account. So it means all these are entitled to receive the dividend, right? So here also even Infosys also check that. So they have these positions, and the positions are even on the record date as well, and even those trades been placed by this rule. The trade, all the securities placed before the X date, and now they have been settled before the record date, on or before the record date, on or before. So this is very important. Recorded. So it means in the books of in the both the books you can see all the investors are entitled to receive the dividend. So in this case you can't see the break. Even uh, uh, this event is like very smooth. Just you need to put the values and you can process it easily. So you don't need to do anything with the particular the corporate action event or income dividend team. The where you can find the challenge then. The challenges are here also you can see when we talk about the dividend most of the time. So the agent banks or custodians, they process this 1000 rupees. So let's say this is INR payment. They can process the payment on suspense account. Why they process it? Sometime if they process the if they have a robo deployed in the payment solution system, the robot can process the payment with their own way. So that is what sometime you can see the payment has been received on suspense account. And where you can see the suspense account, in the IntelliMatch itself you can see the suspense account, because every organization, the regulator or the organization itself, so they will have to announce that their suspense account. So many time even you can also process the cash payment if you see the excess payment you have received from a XYZ client. So meanwhile you can park that excess payment to the suspense account. So that is what the suspense account is, the facility account which can help you to park the fund temporary for that particular account or on that particular account. Okay. So here see, so the challenges is like, if see there is no break on the recorded side, so it means there is no break on the position, but the challenges that you can see, you have received fund on a suspense account instead of this business account. You have to receive this fund on this particular Infosys account, but instead that you have received fund on suspense account. So this is the one where you need to do investigation and find out. So you can match the payment. If you match the payment, then you can match the issuer name in fee, and you can process, like you can debit the fund from the suspense account, and you can credit. You have two options. You can credit the funds to the info account directly, or else you can process 100 rupees to each investor, so your total will match. You have two options. You can do it in these two ways. So sometime this is the one scenario. So sometime you can see, sorry, sometime issuer can process the payment via check payment. So when the check payment announced or deposited, so it will take at least 5 days or 10 days or even 4 weeks to clear the check. And when the check payment is there, along with that, the issuer or the depositor, they will ask for a check payment fees as well. So 1% of total amount. So it means the 100, if there is a 1000 amount, so you can see, so they will charge 10 rupees as a fees. So the amount will be like 90. But in the in the state books of account, you haven't mentioned that, or even you are not aware about this fees, the 1% fees or 10 rupees fees. So once you received a fund even on a this Infosys account, so in that case, suppose they have processed the fund on Infosys account, so in that case also, instead 1000 you will receive only this. But this accounts has been set up with the 100 rupees. So here that you can see that 10 rupees short, 10 rupees short. See this. So even in this case also you can see the break. Then how can you resolve it? As simple as that. Either you will have to add the 10 rupees, 10 rupees from the suspense account, because that is what the suspense is created. Just you can add the dummy 10 rupees suspense account, and you can just figure it out, round up this balance as 1000 and process the corporate action. This is how you can do it. Or else you have another option is to reduce this balances proportionately and process the fund. And else even you can what you can do, you can process the corporate action with a short balance, and after processing the corporate action you can post this short 10 rupees, you can just reverse it to the fees account. So once you reverse it, so it will match. Like when you reverse, you can just put the plus 10, then it will like 0 minus plus 0, so your balances will match. This is how you can even resolve your this break as well. Okay, this is for check payment. Sometime you can see the cross payments cross payment, it means you are expecting payment in INR, but the custodian or the agent bank process the payment in GBP, right? For example, let's say 600 GBP you have received. So in that case, you can see and even that payment received to you on the suspense account. The key point that always will have to ensure that the issuer name, trade date, record date, X date, then ISIN identifier, then IBAN number, or maybe the 72 fields or fields. There are a number of reference codes will be provided by the organizations to you. So just you need to mug up it and accordingly you can check it. Where I was working, so they have provided ISIN, payment date, record date, issuer name, and IBAN number. If you can confirm that with your system, means with this, the State Street account or books of account, so you can consider that this is our payment. Okay, but yeah, this is even not easy to recognize it. Sometime you will have to send a mail to uh, the payment sender. Who is the sender? Maybe it could be JPM, it could be the Morgan Stanley, it could be NT, it could be many other banks. So you will have to reach out to them and ask, hey guys, is this payment for this particular Infosys corporate action? If they say yes, then you can perform the FX procedure. FX procedure, it means you will have to convert the GBP into the INR. Once you can convert the GBP into INR, the amount should be your 1000 INR because we are expecting 1000. And suppose if you are not aware about how to convert this into this, and suppose after the conversion of GBP into INR, you're getting only 900. Still, you can't process this corporate action because you are short on this particular corporate action. So in that case, you will have to reach out to the agent bank and you will have to confirm that, hey guys, we are short on this particular corporate action event, so we have a break around 100 rupees. So can you please confirm how can we manage this, or else can we reduce our account balances and to process the corporate action we had? So how it should be? So you can even call to them, or else you can send a mail to them with a proper investigation and you can confirm from them. Or else sometime what happen, even as an Asian bank will have some approvals in place. So for that matter, you can send the mail to your internal VP or director to confirm that, hey guys, we have a break on this particular trade. So corporate action stating that this and this is just because of uh, FX exposure. FX exposure, it means this they have processed the GBP, but on that particular day the value was that, but now the value is something this. So that is what we are having this 100 rupees break. So how can we do it? So they can even provide approval to you to process the corporate action, but still there will be a break. So you can move this particular fund, or even you can add this fund from the suspense account. So it means the suspense facility is for to take the balances and again to move the balances. तो ये एक समंदर की तरह है, तुम्हें थोड़ा बहुत फंड चाहिए उसी से ले लो, थोड़ा बहुत फंड चाहिए उसी में डाल दो. So this is for a cash. So you can see such a scenarios, and even in the interview process also they can ask these cases or scenarios. Right? Sometime they can ask about the record date break. Record date break, it means on a record date you can see, so this particular account is not yet settled. So that is what here the balance is zero due to short trades. Short trade, it means if the short trade happens or short sale or short buy happens, in that case hardly you can have a opportunity to participate in the dividend event. So that is your position is not yet settled on a record date. So it means this trade will treat it as a fail because on a record date, and even this trade was traded on X date here. So still in that case, your trades will get failed and you won't be able to get the dividend. So this will happen. So in that case also, you can see the breaks, because here, like in the books of Infosys, you are seeing the positions, and in the books of State Street, you are not seeing the positions. So how can you resolve this recorded break? Then in that case, first of all, you will have to reach out to the custodian, so you can confirm that. So can you see the recorded positions in your books of account? If the custodian say yes, for a investor they are seeing the positions, so even you can reach out. अब अभी ये क्या होगा कि ये इन्वेस्टर मतलब ये भी नहीं होगा, ये होगा एनटी, ये होगा जेपी मॉर्गन, ही होगा गोल्डमन सैक, ऐसे बड़े बड़े बैंक्स ही होते हैं. Even you can reach out to the, even suppose this is a MS Morgan Stanley, you can reach out to the Morgan Stanley, and let's see Morgan Stanley if they can confirm this break to you or not. If they are not able to confirm the break, then you can go ahead with the another point, right? Then you can reach out to the custodian. Just a minute, start the recording, right? So this is how the even you can resolve the breaks. So the books of accounting is something very important. If you are not able to understand the books of account of a respective XYZ company, then you can't resolve the breaks, right? This balances should match. This balances, if the balances is not matched, then you should follow the escalation hierarchy. You should have to escalate to your internal teams, or the trade settlement teams, or the front end teams, or the desk team who is there to book the trades for you, right? So you will have to follow this procedure, right? And the basic invest, when you see any breaks in any team, right? Whether in a I would say the reconciliation process, whether in a derivative process, whether in a the equity process or FX process, or maybe in a corporate action process, any process. So first of all, always you should look for a few things. When you see the breaks, so you should do the investigation. Investigations. In an investigation, find out some findings. Do the thorough investigation. Read the emails. Proper emails means most of the time what happened, we don't read the emails properly, so that is what we fail to understand the queries as well, right? So ultimately what we're gonna be do here, we'll have to do credit or debit from each other's account. So action would be that only, whether the team, it could be derivative trades, corporate action, income, dividend, bonds, it could be any team. So where ultimate action would be like do the debit or do the credit, or so apart from that it will be like reverse and all. So revert in that case also we'll have to debit to the some other accounts, and we'll have to credit to the some others account. So again, therapy or the ultimate solution is to do the debit and credit. But the point is you should do the investigation and find out some findings. As I mentioned, like why there is a break, due to check payment, due to currency exposure, the payment is received in a different currencies, due to the payment has been processed to the centralized account or suspense account or to any other account due to that. So you should look that as well. Or maybe the this happening just because the positions which is not settled on a record date, that is what you have received the payment. So it means this position also not entitled to participate in the dividend event. So why will again provide dividend to this? And that is what even you have received a late payment as well. Like for example, let's say 900 just you have received. But sometime, and maybe you have a question in mind why you can see such information. Guys, see the process is, so every the event or every account will have to set up in the R system or the centralized system XYZ. For example, so there is, for example, the B is the application. So in that B application, we'll have to set up these accounts, and we'll set up it and we'll monitor it. So once we receive the payment on payment date via XYZ, or from maybe from a centralized platform, XYZ centralized platform, then we'll review that. And once you review that payment, definitely will got to we just we just confirm that information is like we have received lease payment from the sender who have sent this payment to us. Who can send the payment to us? The middleman. So middleman that we can call like the agent bank who have our the demat account with them, they will definitely process the payment to us. And once they process the payment to us, then we'll have to ensure it, right? So that doesn't mean some most of the time this happens. The failed trades are very important to recognize the failed trades from the system. This is a crucial job. Nobody can easily rectify the failed trades because I have just took the 10 accounts to show you, but in the real corporate action event or real dividend events or in a real like the bonds and all, you can see the thousands of account, 200s of account, 300s of account, out of which will have to process the payment or will have to find out the unpaid accounts, will have to find out uh, the balances which are remain on the accounts, right? So there are a number of things that you can see. But ultimately, as a processor, as a operation analyst, we are entitled to ensure that we have processed the benefit to the rights account only. So it means in this case, we can't process the payment to this account. So we'll have to suppose still if you see the balance, and once you see the balance, the amount is sees like 1000 INR, and here that you have received the received payment is again 1900, sorry, 900 INR. So in that case, you can just if you so but yeah, the investigation stage would be like you can send this mail to the A or else apart from or on behalf of A, you can send this mail to the persons who have hold this A's holding. So suppose that is NT, let's say. Even you can send the mail to NT and ask them, guys, are these valid positions or not? Even you can ask your the trading or the front end team. Even you can confirm this position with the custodian as well, right? If they confirm, or in a most cases, the near one, the point of contact would be like you're the client. You can reach out to them as well. You can ask them to confirm the details. You can even send your input as well. If they confirm, then you can make this position 0 from the account. How you can make the position 0? You can add another one account, like for example in this case, so we can resolve the break in this way. Sorry. So there are the B. Actually, we'll have to amend this in this way. That is what you can match the balances. Otherwise, your balances will not match. See the now you can see this. We have resolved this break, right? So what we have done here, we have added one account for a same counterparty. We have added the account for the same counterparty, but just we have reversed it. We have added with a negative way. So that is what this particular account's balance will be 0, and that is what we want. And if you don't put this in this way, then your breaks will not resolve at all. So your balance will increase. You can see the total balance here, right? So total balance is this. Even here, because see this is because in a XYZ, the centralized platform, you can see just you have received a payment, so you can't make changes in that particular platform. That is just confirmation we have received. So XYZ counterparty made a payment for us, right? So we can just refer them and we can just confirm them what action that we're gonna take, or even you can take the action and you can confirm that. So what we have done here is we have make this position 0 just because. So it seems that this position was not settled on a record date, or else that wasn't trade on the entitlement date. That is what this position is not entitled to receive the corporate action benefits. Even you can call in the corporate action languages like invalid fields. Okay, so this is how the breaks that you can resolve, but there is no therapy, and in the interview process also nobody can ask you such a questions in a this deeper way. This is like, the deep investigations which you require to resolve the breaks. But yeah, so once you join somewhere, and if you're there, if you can see that the person who is providing training or the facilities to you, and if he's not uh, capable to provide trainings in this way, then you can definitely reach out to me. So I would be more happy to even resolve your doubts and to provide you some the insightful information to you about these corporate action, the techniques and all. But yeah, from an interview perspective, so every interviewer, they have, their expectations from their candidate. At least candidate should know this language, at least what is ex date, what is record date, what is entitlement date, what is the roles of custodian in the corporate action process, what is dividend, what is again the cash and stock option, dividend reinvestment plan and all. So what are the different corporate actions and all, at least because you should know these things. Eventually the ultimate action would be like to process something, to process the dividend or to process the bonus issues or to process something to the someone. You can't see apart from that anything there, right? And even you can see such a challenge, so it means, so when you see the challenge, so you will have that zeal to resolve that particular break in a uh, you know very systematic way, which can save the time for you and for the particular counterparty as well. And even it's not easy to resolve the breaks easily. It will take lots of time to reconcile the break first. That is what the reconciliation process in place. Because after here that I have mentioned, like, the recorded plus 45 days means within a 45 days that we can set up a payment date and we can process the payment, right? Record date minus 2 would be, or X date plus 2 would be your record date. This is the generic rule. Sometime you can see the record date plus 1 would be, or X date is equal to record date would be also the same, the date that you can see for some corporate action events. And even this is again generic rule, means it's a generic rule. But yeah, it can be negotiated. It is depends on the counterparties. If issuer is committed to someone else, like we can process the benefit on X date as well, so they can process that. So in that case, you can see the X date, record date, and the payment date would be same. So on the same date that you can process the payment, there is no any other point, right? But the generic rule is the generic rule, so that we should know, at least as a, if you are looking for a corporate action interview, then you should know this. At least you should aware about it. And in every process you can see some key information that is really required to process anything, or to to find out anything, or to do the investigation, right, to report it, to action it. The key information is like, because we are dealing with a financial product, so we should know. So what is the key information? Key information is like, the key information is like trade date, right? Because here also see, so we have a two trade books. This is the trade books and this one is also trade books, state street trade book. So you can match the positions by the trade date as well. That is what even we should know, the trade date as well. Then settlement date, that is also important, trade date and settlement date. Because on the settlement date also you can match the positions and you can easily find out the discrepancy in the position breaks, right? Then the other point is the X date, record date, X minus 1 is like entitlement date, payment date, instead payment date I would say value date, payment date. There is a difference between value date and payment date. Payment date, it means processing date, and the value date, it means so actual payment date. Sometime you can see the delay in the payment process. So in that case, so whenever you will see the payment has been received to you, so you can process that particular payment on that particular day. So that day called as payment date. And what is the actual date? So that day would be the value date. Right. Even apart from that, the key identifiers are also important, which is like ISIN, QSIP, then the other CIDOL, then maybe the big code, IBAN, the corporate action IDs. Right. So we should know that we should familiar with all these identifiers, because every time we'll have to search the information by this particular identifier, then we won't be able to find out the information. So if we want the information, then we should know what is ISIN, what is QC, what is CIDOL, big code, IBAN, corporate action IDs and all. Then you can easily find out the information in your internal applications, right? Then so this is how the investigation works. And this the when like this was for a dividend part, but yeah, the same structure would be for the other corporate actions as well, like a stock dividend, maybe the reverse split, stock split, bonus issues, then the merger acquisition, right? Or other the stock events as well. You can see the same kind of information. Instead of payment, there would be a positions or stock, or that even called quantities, right? Instead payment, just you can replace the name quantity, but yes, the same kind of framework is required, same kind of the pattern of investigation is required, the same kind of key information is required, because eventually this process or the payments will be processed by some agent banks as well. If you see the payment is not there, if you see any short positions in your books of account, see guys, the market is the quite unpredictable. So that is what every time even you can see the trade amendments as well, right? When you see the trade amendments, it means uh, so sometime it the communication that uh, we haven't received the communication from the corporate broker or prime broker or dealer. So that is what even we couldn't amend that positions in our books of account. That is what you can see the variance in the position breaks as well. And so that is what even you can be short on your the position side, your or in the books of accounts as well. So we if we should aware or we should familiar with all the information and broker task or the custodian works, the other the agent banks works and all. And even the most of the time what happen, if you see the breaks, so most of the time you guys fail to understand the the hierarchy as well, or the how the corporate action, the different players played vital role in this corporate action ecosystem. For example, the issuer, then custodian bank, sorry, not custodian, registrar, that I would say, then your the custodian, right? Then the other the brokers, prime or hedge fund, maybe mutual fund, maybe IBs, investment banks, जो भी, if they want to make the trades they can. So this is how communication goes, and ultimately the end would be like the investors, because ultimately we'll have to process the benefits to the investors, and we'll have to debit that particular dividend amount or corporate action amount to the issuers. So that is what, how and why we work here. right? But most of the time, so we guys, that are unable to understand the hierarchy of the corporate action. That is what we even don't escalate this matter to the respective counterparts immediately, क्योंकि हमें वो चीज़ समझ में ही नहीं आती कि हम किसको रीच आउट करें, कब, किसको, कहाँ, कैसे। तो कई सारी ऐसी चीज़ें आती है, बट या, so don't worry about anything. अगर वहाँ पे organization में if you see the proper training in place, definitely it will helps you a lot to get the information about the corporate action, and even you can work it accordingly. And but yeah, from an interview perspective, nobody can ask the all this information in a very deep way. मुझे लगता है कई बार इंटरव्यू प्रिपेयर नहीं रहते, जो इंटरव्यू लेने वाले भी लोग होते हैं वो भी प्रिपेयर नहीं रहते, तो इतनी चीज़ें दिमाग में नहीं आती है एट द टाइम, किसी की भी नहीं आती है, ठीक है, बट ये रैंडम क्वेश्चन दे कैन आस्क अबाउट व्हाट इज द रोल्स ऑफ issuer, what is the roles of registrar, what is the roles of custodian in the process. So if the corporate action happens, how the impact goes on the mutual fund and the hedge fund or other investments, so how it's work and all. So do you know anything about it? So you can see the questions from this front, so don't worry about it. So if you're not, if you're not aware about how to resolve the breaks, सी, उनको भी पता है कि तुम्हारी प्रोफाइल क्या है, तो वो भी एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करेंगे कि जल्दी जाके भाई उधर कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन पे बिठाओ, रिजॉल्व करने के लिए बिठाओ. सो ब्रेक रिजॉल्व करना टू फाइंड आउट द रिस्क इन द ट्रांजैक्शन विच इज नॉट इजी. अगर आप कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन अच्छे से प्रोसेस करते हो, स्क्रब करते हो, कई सारी चीज़ें कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन भी, कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन के एक छोटा सा टॉपिक नहीं है, कई सारी चीज़ें है, डेडलाइन मैनेजमेंट है, जो इलेक्शंस होते हैं वो मैनेजमेंट करना भी, दिस इज आल्सो वन ऑफ द टफेस्ट टास्क टू डिजाइन द इलेक्शंस, टू सेट अप द इलेक्शंस, to reach out to the counterparties or to investors to understand their the odds or opinions, accordingly set up the events, and number of tasks that you can see. But this is all about from a payment perspective. But अलग अलग चीजें, बहुत सारी चीजें, even the tax treatment is also there. Sometime you can see the dual tax will be applied to the dividend, due to that you can see the variance in the or break in the there's dividend payments. Counterparty or custodian can charge the dual or double tax for XYZ, और मे बी जो होते हैं ना बहुत स्पेशल डिविडेंड्स वगैरह होते हैं, उनका डबल टैक्स भी देना पड़ता है, तो वो भी होता है, ड्यूअल टैक्स भी होता है, एंड नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स आर देयर दैट नोबडी कैन एक्सपेक्ट. ठीक है, एंड ये इतनी चीज़ें आप यहाँ सी, मतलब मैं भी बताऊँ तो भी कुछ कैरी नहीं होगा वहाँ पे जाने के बाद कई सारी चीज़ें वहाँ आती है. हाँ, बट यस कि तुम्हें स्ट्रक्चर पता होना चाहिए, कहीं सारी बेसिक चीज़ें पता होनी चाहिए, राइट. So you tell me what will be the impact. Suppose you have invested in Infosys Securities, then what will be the impact on your holding? See the simply, so don't make a things complicated, okay? So impact, see the first of all understand about the impacts. Impacts means what exactly? To 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 bring some change, right? So it could be negative or positive. That is what we say like impacts. Okay. You have hundreds of quantities of NF. Okay. The first of all, see, we'll talk about the dividend perspective. Infosys announced dividend, and the rate is around 1 rupees for per equity. right? So it means in this case, you have 100 quantities of inputs, so you are eligible to receive the dividend for 100 quantities. So it means definitely will receive 100 rupees. Don't you say that is a change or impact? You have received consideration, right? This applies to the mutual fund as well. If mutual fund holds again 100 quantity, or let's say 10,000 quantities or 1 lakh quantities of Infosys, sorry, hedge fund, then they will receive this much amount. Suppose let's say the MS holds same quantity, again they will also receive the dividend. Suppose JPM hold this quantity, they will also receive the same. This is a change, right? And suppose if they announce bonus stocks, again the ratio of the bonus stock is 1:1. If I have hold this, and again the rest players also they have hold this. If have already hold 100 shares, then you will receive this 100 extra. The total, your total position should be like 200. The same way here also they will receive this much. This applies to all the other players as well, including promoters of the business. If you hold the major stake in the company, then you will be. That's fine. So there is no now. If you see the about Infosys, the Narayan Murthy and their team, they are the promoters of the Infosys. If you talk about Wipro, the Ajim Premji is the promoter of, or their son and their family, they are the promoter of the business. When you talk about the Reliance family is the promoter of the business. When you talk about the Tata Group, the Ratan Tata, they are the promoter of their business. Right, so this applies to all. So it means when the corporate action announced that affect goes for all affect, it means the change that you can see. So here in the bonus stock, that your positions has been changed. So you had only 100, so now you are 200, right? And if it is suppose after bonus issues, you can see the stock split event. Stock split, it means company want to split the stock, one stock into two, right? So now we have a 200 share, so it will be converted into 400. So it will receive extra 200 into. So how this calculation goes? Because 1:2, it means it will receive extra 400, right? Or else your 200 securities will be converted into 400. So it will receive extra 200. So that is what. So we will have a 400 shares here. The face value of shares will be changed. So even the market value of the shares will be changed. But yeah, the total value of the portfolio would be remain same. So here we are just splitting to the face value of a stock. Right? This applies to all as well. To So after stock split, if company announce reverse split, mute it if you can and unmute when you have a question. Then here that you can see reverse split, it means company want to reduce the number of holdings from 2 to 1, or yes, let's say 2 to 1. They want to, if you have a 400 shares, so they want to reduce into 200s. So your 200 shares will be reduced. So actually it will be replaced by new shares. So the number of holdings will be changed, and again the face value of a shares will be changed accordingly. Most of the time interviewers, they can ask questions on a face value part as well. If the stock split announced, will this face value change of that particular stock or not? Definitely, because actually we are splitting to the face value of a shares, not the market value. But yeah, market value ultimately it will change. Even that value also will be split into the different portions or the denominations. What, how we are going to be splitting. So on the basis of that, the market value also will be split accordingly. Recently, even that we have a IRCT announced the stock split. Even the Apple Group, that they announced the stock split. You can see that information, and how you can see the stock, that information on the stock exchange site. Even you can refer the the different sites that we have. So let's say uh, okay, so I'll use this IRCTC, Indian Railway Catering, valuation expensive. See this bonus issue split and all. So you because recently they have announced, so that is what you can't see much information here. But upcoming bonus issues and split, that information you can find. Yeah. Okay. So their information I can't see, but in the general I can, because they announced the corporate actions. IRCTC corporate action split. Money control. So definitely we'll see. Or else even you can see this information on a Bloomberg as well. Bloomberg is one of the source of information that you can access all the information from there. See, they have mentioned this like is the next board meeting of IRCT Railway is to be held today for a quarterly result and stock split. Board announce the stock split. So in this meeting they have announced the stock split. But so how we can find the information? So say this. Very soon you can see that information like their corporate action. But yeah, so I heard that they are splitting the face value into two. So it means, so if you have a one shares of IRCT, you will have received 5. So 1 is to 5. So that is how they are going to split. So you can see such a corporate action. The most important question is why the companies will announce the corporate stock split or reverse split. A number of reasons that you can see. Suppose they have objectives to increase the liquidity in the market. So in that case, also they can announce the stock split, because now you can see the value of IRCT stock is around 3000. So retail investors, they can't afford this 3000 value for a per stock. And even you can see here also, so the this particular stock is become a more Expensive in terms of valuation. This is the valuation. Okay, expensive, it means so we can't afford it. The value of the stock is very high, so which is not affordable. So that is what you can split the value into five. So this particular stock value would be around 400. So once up to the or post the stock split. So now the retail investor can afford it. Now you can see the liquidity for this particular stock. Even if the boards or if the company want to increase the number of shares in the market, they can do that. There are a number of reasons. There is no such as such कि like भाई कि क्यों और कैसे. जैसे कि अभी ये कंपनी है MREF, ये बहुत बार ऐसे पूछते हैं कि मैंडेटरी है क्या स्टॉक स्प्लिट अनाउंस करना. कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन मैंडेटरी है, बट अनाउंस करना मैंडेटरी नहीं है. अभी अगर मैं MRF की बात करूं, see this, the value of this particular stock is 82,000. 82,000. You can see this. And the corporate action details, if you can see, they haven't announced any dividend. Sorry, any split. So they don't have a history, right? Even they don't have announced, I'm sure, the bonus issues as well. So it means, and even they don't have announced any dividend. Probably they will have a history, so every year they are offering dividend like 94, 40, 50, 30. So that is how, but they don't have history of any corporate actions, right? So that is how they work. And here that you can see like why the company is not announcing. So every company, they will have their own different objectives to announce the stock split or reverse split. Even they can announce, but they don't want to announce. That is their call, management's call. But when they announce, that will be a pure mandatory corporate action event. If there is no big effect on the shareholders, then definitely they even don't need to that give the option to the shareholders as well to choose something or not. Okay, so now you can unmute yourself and you can ask your doubts. Okay, so are you working with custodian? So what are the functions of custodian? Safekeeping function, that didn't you heard hear from? So what is the meaning of that? And now see, so on behalf of that, it means if the Infosys deposited their all the shares in the custodian's account, or if they have opened any account with the custodian and they have transferred all their equity to the custodian accounts. So it means whenever they announce anything, they will have to inform to the custodian first, because all the holdings with the custodian, right? They have their all the holdings with custodian. And that is what, when the custodian come into picture, then custodian can deal with all the hedge fund, mutual fund, in other investment banks and broker houses. ठीक है, तुम्हारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बता, मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग छोड़ दो. मुझे कई सारे तरीके बताने के, क्योंकि तुम्हें तुम्हें समझना है तो तुम्हारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग मुझे निकालनी पड़ेगी पहले. ट्रांसफर सिक्योरिटीज नहीं हो सकता, लैंड एंड बोरो सिक्योरिटीज नहीं हो सकता। यस, तो अगर इतने सारे फंक्शंस हो पिक्चर में तो कस्टोडियन का रोल नहीं होगा फिर इसमें। देखो कस्टोडियन के अंडर जितनी भी होल्डिंग्स होती है ना, सो आई टेल यू, ये हमें फंक्शन ज़्यादा अच्छे से पता नहीं होते, इसलिए हम कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कई बार। अगर मैं यही एग्जांपल को ले लूँ, यहाँ पे होल्डिंग्स है, ये टोटल होल्डिंग्स जो होगी अराउंड लेट्स से एंड प्रोमोटर्स की मिलके, तुम कैसे बेनिफिट पाओगे? तुम्हें, अगर तुम एक रिटेल इन्वेस्टर हो, तुम्हें क्या बेनिफिट मिलेगा? तो तुम्हें क्या लगता है, तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि प्रमोटर को डिविडेंड नहीं मिलेगा? तो उनका भी बेनिफिट हुआ। तो यही चीज है कि समझने के लिए, अगर इक्विटी की तरफ से सोचो, आप एक इक्विटी को बेनिफिट अगर आपको मिल रहा है, तो दुनिया में जितने भी लोग हैं, प्रमोटर हो कोई भी और हो, सबको मिलेगा बेनिफिट। तो यह ऐसे नहीं कि प्रमोटर है मतलब उनको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, उनको कुछ अलग मिलता है, ऐसे नहीं होता है। बिजनेस हैज देयर ओन एग्जिस्टेंस, प्रमोटर्स आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द बिजनेस, राइट। तो जब इक्विटी के ऊपर 1 रुपए तुम्हें तुम्हारे पास 100 की जगह अगर एक शेयर है, एक शेयर को आपको 1 रुपए मिलता है, तो अगर प्रमोटर के पास 100 शेयर है, तो उसको भी तुम्हें जितना मिला उतने ही परसेंटेज में उनको मिलेगा। ऐसे नहीं कि उनको ज्यादा मिलेगा, कम मिलेगा, नहीं। बस वो लीड करते हैं आगे रह के कि बिजनेस को चलाते हैं, एंड हम कैपिटल प्रोवाइड करते हैं बैक में कि भाई चलो कि नॉन रिफंडेबल कैपिटल हमने दिया हुआ है। समझने के लिए हमेशा कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन को समझना है, तो हमेशा याद रखना, एक रिटेल इन्वेस्टर की तरह सोचना कि अगर मैंने इसके शेयर्स लिए हुए हैं तो मेरे पे क्या इंपैक्ट आएगा। सेम इंपैक्ट गोज फॉर ऑल, इंक्लूडिंग म्यूचुअल फंड, हेज फंड, इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक्स, कस्टोडियंस, the foreign institutional investors, domestic institutional investors, then superstar investors, or the highly individual net worth investors, right? This applies for all. ऐसे नहीं कि कुछ तुम्हारे लिए कुछ अलग होगा ट्रीटमेंट और उनके लिए वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट अलग होगा, नहीं होता है ऐसे। प्रमोटर के लिए कुछ नहीं है ऐसे, जितना तुम्हें तुम्हें वोटिंग राइट्स मिलेंगे उतने ही उनको मिलेंगे, जितने तुम्हें चीजें मिलेगी उतनी ही उनको मिलेगी। हाँ, कम इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो कम मिलेगी, ज्यादा है तो ज्यादा, यही होगा, बाकी कुछ नहीं। बट जो रेट है चेंज नहीं होगा किसी के लिए। देखो इंटरव्यूअर का काम है 10 सवाल पूछना, बंदे की अंडरस्टैंडिंग समझाना, लेकिन उसके लिए हमें पैनिक होके अभी यही सवाल, जैसे कि अगर रिटेल इन्वेस्टर के लिए तो हम अब खुद सोच सकते थे कि रिटेल इन्वेस्टर, तो प्रमोटर के लिए क्या होगा, सेम ही होगा, क्यों उसके लिए क्यों अलग होगा, कहीं पे है ही नहीं, कहीं कौन सा भी बुक जाके देख लो, दिस इज फॉर ऑल। ठीक है। तो अभी ये कस्टोडियन को देखो, जैसे सवाल आपका है, अभी यहाँ से आप कस्टोडियन के साथ काम भी करते हो, लेकिन जवाब आपको अच्छे से पता हो जाएगा अभी कि कस्टोडियन का फंक्शन सेफ कीपिंग का है या फिर कहीं अलग अलग अदर भी सर्विसेज देते हैं, राइट। यानी कि अभी हमारे पास, मैं बोलता हूँ तुम्हें, जो एनएसडीएल है, एनएसडीएल, राइट। एनएसडीएल का फंक्शन क्या है? नेशनल सिक्योरिटीज डिपॉजिटरी सर्विसेज लिमिटेड। और हमारे पास एक सीडीएसएल भी है, राइट। जब भी आप कुछ परचेस करते हो एज ए रिटेल इन्वेस्टर, तो आपको एक अकाउंट जिसको डीमैट अकाउंट कहा जाता है, जो NSDL या फिर CDSL, ये दोनों में से एक ऑप्शन दिया जाता है, उनके साथ निकालना होता है। करेक्ट? डिमैट अकाउंट है आपके पास? किसका है? अभी आप जब बाइंग करते हो तो एंजल में बाइंग करते हो, लेकिन ये तो ब्रोकर है। T+2 पे T+2 पे पोजीशंस तो सेटल्ड हो जाती है ना। सेटल्ड होने का मतलब क्या है? क्योंकि एंजल जो है डिमैट अकाउंट नहीं देता है, वो देता है ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट फैसिलिटी देता है। आप सिर्फ ट्रेड कर सकते हो। ये सेफ कीप की फैसिलिटी नहीं देता है। सेफ कीप की फैसिलिटी कौन देता है? NSDL देता है। सो इट मींस यू शुड हैव अ वन अकाउंट विथ CDSL और आइदर NSDL, right? So whenever your positions get settled, right, so the angel broking is entitled to transfer these securities, whatever. For example, for Infosys, if it is 100, then the angel broking team is entitled to transfer the securities in your demat account, so which is having with the NSDL. So here, so that your position should be here. And if the position is not here, and even the reconciliation perspective, so they can do the reconciliation versus demat account versus your trading account, just to ensure that they have transferred this amount on a T+2 basis in the accounts of demat, because demat account and trading account is different. So the same way, the custodians provide facility of a demat account, not trading account, because the brokers are like, and this demat account facility will be for this particular facility will be for hedge fund houses, mutual fund houses, institutional investors, retail investors, right? And that is what they charge their custodian fees to provide the safe keep or the security to your investment. So, and that is what even will have to appoint as a one corporate broker or broker. Whatever it is you can call. Once you do the trade, then the brokers are entitled to transfer that all the securities into custodian's account, right? So it means eventually all the positions will be the custodians, will be with custodians, right? There's all the positions will be with custodians. So when the corporate action announced, even here also you can see the number of positions will be changed accordingly. And anyways, if you want to transfer the securities to anyone, so you will have to send the instructions to the custodians. If you want to sell, even as a retail individual investor, suppose you are looking for a sale of this particular 100 shares, so you will have to send the a confirmation to the NSDL to stating that, so I want to sell this position to XYZ. So who can send this? So you can reach out to your broker. So your broker can reach out to the NSDL, and NSDL can release your positions. So they will again keep a record, like, so in this case they will maintain, right? First of all you buy this and then you sell this. So your the net positions with the NSDL is zero. So that is what the NSDL means. The depositories come into picture, or that is what the security provider come into picture, custodians come into picture. Ultimately they are the holder of this particular securities, means they have that, you have an account with them. So that is what they will have to provide the service to you. And whenever you see the communication will receive, first of all, or the secondly, after the registrar they can send the message to the custodian, and then custodian can pass this information to you. And apart from the custodian, they provide, the additional service to the governments as well, to charge the tax on your income, or to charge the tax on your dividend or the corporate action, and accordingly they can provide or that credit tax to the government's agencies as well. So that is what the custodians come into picture, right? So here suppose after the after the bonus issues, positions like change around this, here also positions will be add around, right? So that is what you have to do the recon. So custodian will perform the recon with all these other players. Okay, you all the balances should be equal to the custodians, say this here. So this is what how it goes for all, and the books will be maintained with each others. अगर आप हेज फंड में काम कर रहे हो तो हेज फंड के साथ ये रिकॉन करोगे। अगर कोई एजेंट बैंक्स है, जेपीएम है, तो जेपीएम के साथ ऐसे रिकॉन फॉलो होता है, तो तुम सिर्फ यहाँ पे मैच करोगे अपना, नॉट प्रमोटर्स बट ये जेपीएम टू द कस्टोडियंस। अगर आप कस्टोडियंस में काम करोगे तो कस्टोडियन में जब भी आप बैठोगे तो उनको ये जेपीएम के बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट होगा या फिर अलग अलग बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट होते हैं, तो इनके आपको एक्सेस मिलेंगे, तो आप इन्हीं के साथ अपना काम चला लोगे, तो मैच करोगे पोजीशन से, ऐसे मैच होनी चाहिए। क्योंकि यहाँ पे कस्टोडियन के पास आपका भी बुक्स होगा जिसमें आपके नाम से ये टोटल हुआ, लेकिन जेपीएम और एक बुक मेंटेन करेगी जैसे कि जेपीएम, तो उसमें अगर 1000 है तो 1000 यहाँ पे भी मेंटेन करेगा। So it's like cross reconciliation process that you can see, right? To provide other services, additional services also they can provide. Even they can help to distribute the dividends as well. Even they can help you to provide the corporate action benefits as well. And number of things that you can see, right? So it's not only they are lined up with only to provide the safety facility to their stocks. Even as a custodian, see the JPM is also custodian, State Street also custodian, but they have a many functions, right? Custodian is just a department. They can take the custody of the XYZ securities, and they, in exchange of that, they provide the custodian service and even they charge the fees, right? या क्योंकि हम ये चीजें खुद कैरी नहीं कर सकते ना। अभी आपके शेयर्स किसके पास है? अगर आपने शेयर्स लिए हुए एक्स वाई जेड ब्रोकर के साथ, तो आपके शेयर्स आपके डिमैट में तो दिखते हैं, लेकिन दे आर नॉट इन योर डिमैट में तो दिखते, बट दे आर नॉट इन ट्रेडिंग विद इन ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट्स। जब आप कोई इंट्राडे ट्रेड्स वगैरह प्लेस करते हो या फिर कोई ट्रेड्स प्लेस करते हो, तब तक ही वो ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट में होते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वो आपके एनएसडीएल के साथ है सेफली, क्योंकि वो उसी के बदले वो 15 रुपीज 20 रुपीज पर शेयर, सॉरी पर ट्रेड वो चार्ज करते रहते हैं, या फिर क्वार्टरली, मंथली, एनुअली, दैट इज हाउ। एंड अगर कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन अनाउंस हो जाता है तो आपको पहले उनको इंटीमेशन आता है कि कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन अनाउंस हुआ है, तब जाके ब्रोकर के पास उनके नोटिफिकेशंस आते हैं। एंड वो जो टीम्स बैठी हुई ना, कस्टोडियंस में जो टीम्स बैठी हुई, वो एक्चुअली डिविडेंड प्रोसेस करती है, जिनकी होल्डिंग उनके पास है, उनके होल्डिंग्स के ऊपर। क्योंकि ईश्वर 10 लोगों को दे, वो पॉसिबल है नहीं है, क्योंकि वो अपना बिजनेस करेंगे या फिर वही चीज करते बैठेंगे। रजिस्ट्रार जो है, रजिस्ट्रार का काम इतना ही है, जस्ट टू पास द कम्युनिकेशन, एंड कोई लीगल वर्क्स रहा कंपनी का, सो दे टेक केयर ऑफ इट। भाई पहले तो सुनो, एंटाइटलमेंट होता क्या है? एंटाइटलमेंट होता है जो पोजीशंस वगैरह होती है उसी को बोला जाता है, तो इसलिए मैंने एंटाइटलमेंट वर्ड्स कई बार मेंशन किया है। एंटाइटलमेंट मतलब वही हुआ कि तुम्हारा कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन। ठीक ठीक है, तो ये कंफ्यूज करने के लिए वर्ड्स होते हैं, इसलिए मैं वर्ड्स लिखता हूँ, ये चीजें ध्यान से सुनो, क्योंकि उसका मतलब कुछ होता नहीं ऐसी है। बट अभी वो पूछ रहा है कि एंटाइटलमेंट, अरे व्हाट मेक्स सेंस? एंटाइटलमेंट ओनरशिप है। ओनरशिप का मतलब किस चीज की ओनरशिप है? स्टॉक, इक्विटी, जो भी हम लेते हैं उसी की ओनरशिप है, उसी को प्रोसेस करना है। अब ये जो इतना हमने जो किया वही प्रोसेसिंग का ही पार्ट है ना, चीजें पूरी देखेंगे, राइट? इसको अगर देखोगे, अभी देखो और एक प्रेजेंटेशन में तुम्हें दिखा देता हूँ कैसे क्या क्या होता है, ओनरशिप अनाउंस कैसे होती है, क्या होता है एंटाइटलमेंट। एंटाइटलमेंट का जो रूल्स है वो रूल्स बताना जरूरी है उसके क्वेश्चंस में। जैसे कि ये ट्रेड शुड प्लेस बिफोर द एक्स डेट एंड शुड बी सेटल्ड ऑन और बिफोर रिकॉर्डेड, so that is how it works. Then you can pass that instructions to the XYZ team who can help to create the corporate action events. Then once you set up the events, just reconcile it on a prepayment date and just wait for a payment date. Once you receive the payment date instruction on payment date, then you can process it to the respective account. So that is how the entitlement goes and process. So maybe the question was for like the in the voluntary events, like the right distributions, or maybe the subscription part or tender or buyback. So in that case the entitlement works in a different ways. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, क्योंकि पहले तो तुम्हें ऑफर दी जाती है, ऑफर में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना है वो डिसाइड किया जाता है। जितने लोग पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं उनको बेनिफिट मिलता है, जो पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करते उनको नहीं मिलता है। सो दैट इज नॉट इवन फॉर वॉलंटरी कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन, सो इट विल बी लाइक ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट स्टोरी। बट फॉर अ मैंडेटरी कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन, लाइक इट इज जस्ट प्लेन प्रोसेस। इंस्ट्रक्शंस आते वेरीफाई करो प्रोसेस करो, आते वेरीफाई करो प्रोसेस करो, आते वेरीफाई करो प्रोसेस करो, या फिर उसमें अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, प्रोसेस मतलब एक्चुअली प्रोसेस करना होता है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट अगर कोई सेटअप नहीं है, इवेंट कुछ नहीं है, तो जो कंपनी के प्लेटफॉर्म्स होते हैं वहां पे इवेंट्स क्रिएट करो एंड फिर प्रोसेस करो। अरे डिपेंड्स यार, अलग अलग कंपनियों के अलग अलग होते हैं। अभी मैं जहाँ पे काम करता था वो तो मैं नहीं बता सकता क्योंकि रिकॉर्डेड लाइन है। बट अलग अलग होता है कि आई एम नॉट इवन, वी कांट डिस्क्लोज दैट इंफॉर्मेशन हियर ऑनेस्टली। बट वही तो बोल रहा हूँ मैं, कई सारे होते हैं, अभी कई सारे कंपनियों में कुछ अलग अलग नाम्स बोले जाते हैं, उसको कुछ ऐसे फिक्स क्राइटेरिया नहीं है, क्योंकि ये कंपनी खुद अपना प्लेटफॉर्म भी बना सकती है। ये अकाउंटिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है जस्ट, राइट। ये अपने अपने हिसाब से, अपने अपने कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से ये लोग बना देते हैं अपना अपना प्लेटफॉर्म्स। हर कंपनी में अलग प्लेटफॉर्म दिखेगा, हर कंपनी में दिखेगा वो। बट वो जरूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि उसका ट्रेनिंग तुम्हें मिल जाएगा, उसकी हर चीज तुम्हें मिल जाएगी, वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है हमारे लिए। इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि वो पूरा प्रोसेस फ्लो समझना चाहिए। अगर ये तुम एप्लीकेशन को, ये कोई पूछेगा भी नहीं, विच इज लाइक यू नो, even we everyone signed the non-disclosure in the form with the client. So that is what, that nobody can explain it, nobody can even ask questions on it. Hardly that they can ask questions on that part. But don't worry about it. It's all about like, and even okay. So mm, hmm, मैंने भेजे है ना। Okay, nahi hai. So send, I'll send you. Don't worry. Okay, so here you can read the definition of corporate action. Okay, if you want, any event initiated by a corporate action that impacts shareholders and creditors. Some corporate actions may affect only one security issued by the issuer, and other may affect many or all of the securities issued. So you can read this information. This is quite, I would say, the informative and insightful the content that I have found. Okay, so and here that this is important something that you can see such, you know, on a Bloomberg the same information you can see, because the Bloomberg is the source for information. You can find any information that you want, right? So this is for IBM US, IBM listed in US, so that you can see the, and here that you can see the corporate action calendar. So once you go on a Bloomberg, you can search this information, right? So their information is like divestitures, the extendable issues, acquisitions, and all. But yeah, this particular slide is not important from a corporate action perspective, but other are like cash dividend, right? So cash dividend, the cycle of even cash dividend is like, first of all it will be announced or declared in the annual general meeting or general meeting, then they will announce the ex-dividend date, the first date on which security is traded without entitling the buyers to receive the distribution previously declared. You can read this information, whatever we have discussed, you can find the same content here as well. Wait. First of all, let me finish this, so we'll go on that. Then payment this, the date on which they announce and all. So this is the information that you can see, the very important information. The security type, or the, sorry, the information, my mistake, the corporate action type is DRP. It means drip reinvestment plan. Okay, here also you can find like the cash dividend as well, right? But the important is like, so see this, the company information, IBM, the security type common stock, country issue, the US, country of issues like domicile is US, the ticker name and all that you can find, the price, right? The ISIN is important, CIDOL is important, the way I have told you, right? The corporate action type is like cash dividend details, announcement date, X date is important, and you can match this all the information with your system as well. That is how the recon perform, or we try to match the instructions. Please mute it. So I'm seeing some noise around. If you can mute it, yeah. So this information is also important. So apart from that, see, read this first of all. If you can read all the information, see the corporate action details. Many organizations refer this, the Bloomberg one. Say this. The announcement date, X date, record date, right? Then amount, the percentage adjusted factors and all. Stock split and reverse split. You can find this SNPs for stock split and reverse split, right? See, amount means this is simply the ratio 2 for 1. If you have a 2 shares, then you will get a 1. Sorry, if you have a 1, then you will have a 2 new stocks. So that is how stock split. Listed factor, surrender of certificate, spin-offs. That you just go through all this material that I'll forward you right away. Rights offering and all. See this even this information as well. First of all, let me forward this. Then we'll jump on your doubts resolution part. What? That was on, but why I'm not seeing the WhatsApp? Okay, so I'll forward this to you. You can go through with. No, 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 you are saying incorrectly. So what I mentioned, trade should place before the X date. Place means ट्रेड होना चाहिए एक्स डेट के पहले एंड सेटल्ड होना चाहिए ऑन और बिफोर रिकॉर्ड डेट. ठीक है, तो उल्टा उल्टा मत करो. एक बार कंफ्यूज हो गए तो ये समझने के लिए जिंदगी जाती है लोगों की, लेकिन फिर भी कंफ्यूज रहते हैं, फिर इंटरव्यू में यहीं पे अड़ा के बैठते हैं. तो ये कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है हमें. कितना भी वो कंफ्यूज करने की कोशिश करे, स्टिक टू योर पॉइंट, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. बिफोर नहीं ऑन और बिफोर रिकॉर्ड डेट, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. रिकॉर्ड डेट पे भी हो सकता है तो कोई मतलब कुछ है ही नहीं है, वो है जो कि रूल के हिसाब से ही है. ऑन और बिफोर रिकॉर्ड डेट, बट बिफोर एक्स डेट ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, यहां पे लिखता हूं मैं बिफोर एक्स. यही है अभी, यही कॉन्सेप्ट. अभी अभी इतना कैसे टाइप कर सकते, पागल है. मैं ये तुझे ऐसे स्निप निकाल के भेज दूंगा. ये ऐसे ये रिकॉर्ड में वहां पे टाइप करूंगा तो पागल, तू ही पागल हो जाएगा, बोलेगा कि यार क्या लिख दिया सर ने भी, अब मुझे नहीं चाहिए ये. यहाँ पे लिख बिफोर, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. अभी अभी होगा, अभी समझेगा. अभी देखो, अभी मैंने यहाँ लिखा है, ये बोलो ट्रेडेड बिफोर एक्स डेट, सेटल्ड ऑन और बिफोर रिकॉर्ड डेट. आप समझेगा. एग्जैक्टली exactly. अब समझना चाहिए. अगर आप नहीं समझाए तो अभी बताओ और मैं बता दूंगा, लेकिन व्हाट्सएप पे टाइप करे, मैं कर सकता हूँ लेकिन आएगा नहीं रे, ऐसे कैसे इट्स विल बी डिफिकल्ट। तो कंफ्यूज मैं तुम्हें कंफ्यूज नहीं करना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि एक है चीज नहीं है, मतलब कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा बहुत, टाइप करने में दिक्कत आती है। कैसे टाइप करोगे ऐसा? डेफिनेशन बोलने जैसा वो नहीं है, वो सीन तुम्हें समझ के लेना है। तो इसलिए मैं इसी का प्योर स्नीप निकालता हूँ। अब समझेगा, ये रखो तुम्हारे रेफरेंस के लिए, कभी भी नहीं भूल पाओगे। So why the WhatsApp is not working? So what is the problem with it? Okay, I'll share this even sheet if you want. Okay. Okay, then the last point that okay, so your questions पे आएंगे हम लोग। स्विफ्ट पेमेंट्स का क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? मेल आईडी बोलिए प्लीज। हनुमान, अच्छा, यही है ना? ठीक है। अरे सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी, चलो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, ओपन ही है ना, यहाँ पे है। कहाँ पे है ओपन भाई? मैं कहाँ जा रहा हूँ? ओके, यहाँ पे है। वेर? कहीं सारी चीजें हैं। नो वरीज, नो वरीज। Difficult to find unique emails. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit difficult to find, the unique emails and the good ones. But what can we do? Even that is their source. See, yeah, see if you have received my email or not. So it seems like it should be there, but not. Then I, okay. Why not others then? This is again headache for me. So I'm trying to find some, other way where just I can share that with you. You can access it without sending emails to anyone. Trying to create a just share path. Share me. Yeah, there is one platform even, share me. So let's see. Saying, yeah. Okay, so we'll jump on your question. Like, okay, so there is a organization, SWIFT, Society Worldwide for International Financial Telecommunication, something. Yeah, the full form of the SWIFT. And apart from Society for Worldwide International Financial Telecommunication. Yeah, whatever it is, you take it, because full form याद रखना। मेरे दिमाग में। Exactly. The few things that we can't disclose to anyone. बोलने का सीधा, I can't breach the rule. I can't break the trust. This is the integrity breach, so to breach the rules, that is something even against my personal ethics. Mention that. 7565. Okay, okay. So 7566, that is for payment. 7565 instructions, instructions, status, instructions sent. These are like again the notification. Even you can read all this on a Google as well. Just type it because might be बहुत दिन हो गए ना तो मैं भी याद नहीं रख पा रहा हूँ ये चीजें. तो मैसेज टाइप्स है, बट एक बार देख लेना, ठीक है. आई डोंट वांट एनी कन्वे एनी द इनकरेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन टू यू. मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ फिर भी याद करने की, बट यू कैन आल्सो सी इट. Notifications, and this is for like additional narration or additional info that you can call if. Okay, so the meaning of this is like Swift, like at the end of the month you received salary, right? And the same way, you don't need to go to actually in the bank account and check it whether we have received it or not. Even you can do that, but generally what we see, the message that we received from our the network operator, right? They send that message like we have debited or we have credited this through NFT and all. The same way here, you can see the message codes or types. So once the payment is received or once the payment has been made or debited, debited or credited whom? जैसे कि important ये है कि आप if you're working with, let's say कि X company, right? And suppose there are many companies that your company dealing with. For example, यहाँ पे सोचिए Y whenever they send payment, okay, send to X company. For example, here they send 1000, B company send 2000, C company send 2000. So how they can communicate? Because see, as a company, आपके भी प्रोसेस में हजारों लोग होंगे, राइट? तो हजारों लोग जाके अकाउंट में एक्चुअली तो चेक करेंगे तो पागल हो जाएंगे ना. कितने सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस रहेगी, क्योंकि ये तो एक ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं होती है, हजारों लोग सेंड करेंगे, हजारों ट्रांजैक्शंस होगी इनके दिन की. तो कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन में भी ऐसे ही होता है. तो हम क्या करते हैं कि फिर एक यूनिक वे मिला उनको कि पहले चलो भाई कि अगर ये कुछ कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन अनाउंस होता है तो हम क्या करेंगे कि एक कॉन्फर्मेशन भेज देंगे. कॉन्फर्मेशन क्या भेज देंगे कि ये कॉन्फर्मेशन भेज देंगे, हम ये नोट भेज देंगे. इस पे पूरी डिटेल्स होती है, कितना पेमेंट है, कितनी करेंसी है, ट्रेड डेट, वैल्यू डेट, रिकॉर्ड डेट, काउंटर पार्टीज से सेंडर रिसीवर, उनका अकाउंट नंबर, ये सब इंफॉर्मेशन उन पे मिलेगी आपको देखने को. राइट, ये गूगल पे भी आप देख लेना, मे बी 99% ये कोई ना कोई अपलोड कर ही देता है स्क्रीनशॉट्स वगैरह, तो वहां पे आपको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है, या फिर लेट्स सी एक बार दिखाई देता हो, अगर होता है तो। सीरीज ऐसे काम करता है, वो जो स्नीप है ना ऐसे दिखने लगता है। यहाँ पर भी एक दिखा रहा है क्या वो? नहीं, ये नहीं है, यही है। यहाँ पे आइजिन होगा, रिकॉर्ड डेट, पेमेंट डेट, अदर होल्डिंग कितनी है, नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स, टैक्स वगैरह कुछ लगा है क्या, वो भी इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगी। ट्रांसफर यूनिट कितने हैं वो भी इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगी। एंड कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स, कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स तो इंपॉर्टेंट है ही नहीं है ज़्यादा, बट जिसने भेजा है वगैरह वो डिटेल्स तो आपको वहाँ पे मिलेगी मिलेगी। तो ये ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन दिखने लगती है, ये इसी को हम कंसिडर करते हैं कि ये पेमेंट कॉन्फर्मेशन है। इसी को हम हमारे ये जो जो भी प्रोडक्शन टेम्पलेट होता है ना उसमें हम रेफर करते हैं प्रोडक्शन करने के लिए। वैलिड प्रूफ, एग्जैक्टली। एंड आगे प्रोसेस करते हैं, तो यही काम ये हर एक का होता है। बट ये जो होता है जैसे कि MT566, ये पेमेंट का, यानी कि जो पेमेंट डेट, जैसे कि कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन में भी होता है ना कि एक्स डेट है, रिकॉर्ड डेट है, ऐसे अलग अलग डेट्स होते हैं। जब कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन अनाउंस होता है तो ये जितने भी ब्रोकर्स है वो कस्टोडियन इन सबको ये भेज देता है मैसेज, या फिर एजेंट बैंक जो भी है, बोलता है कि इस एक्स सिक्योरिटी के ऊपर इतना इतना अनाउंस हुआ है एंड आपकी इतनी होल्डिंग है, कंफर्म करिए। फिर जैसे ही हमें मैसेज आता है तो हम अलर्ट हो जाते हैं, चलो कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन आने वाला है। फिर वो इंपॉर्टेंट है कि कौन सा कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन है। अगर वो CSO है या फिर ड्रीप है तो उसमें इलेक्शंस की जरूरत होती है। इलेक्शंस मतलब कि इन्वेस्टर को पूछने की जरूरत होती है कि भाई तुम्हें क्या चाहिए, कैश चाहिए, स्टॉक चाहिए, या फिर इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो क्या, जो भी अलग अलग केसेस होंगे। तो उस पर फिर अगर वैसा कुछ है तो ये MT565 भी होता है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली उनका ओपिनियन आएगा। एंड उनका ओपिनियन आने के बाद ये अगर हमने कंफर्म कर लिया, हमने मतलब जो प्रोसेसर तो कंफर्म नहीं करता है, बट जो इश्यूअर है अगर वो मानता है कि चलो ठीक है, या फिर जो कस्टोडियन है वो मानता है, तो हम बोलते हैं कि चलो ठीक है, इसका स्टेटस क्या है, अप्रूव्ड है। तो वो भी हम लोग कंफर्म करते हैं एंड उसी के अकॉर्डिंग इवेंट सेटअप करते हैं। इवेंट बोलते हैं कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन की लैंग्वेज में। एंड फिर ये होगा नोटिफिकेशन, जैसे ही कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन कंफर्म होता है, प्रोसेस हो जाता है, तो नोटिफाई भी कर देते हैं। नोटिफाई मतलब हम सिस्टम में प्रोसेस करते हैं तो नोटिफिकेशन जाता है उनको, क्योंकि वही फैसिलिटी हम लोग लेते हैं ना। ये एक्चुअली मैन्युअली कोई मैसेज सेंड नहीं करता है अगर आप देखोगे तो, बट सेविंग अकाउंट में जैसे आपके कुछ एक्टिविटी होती है तो वो एक्चुअली मैसेज आपको आता है, हमने ये फैसिलिटी ली हुई है। तो सेम ये स्विफ्ट की फैसिलिटी ये बड़े बड़े बैंक्स लेते हैं, तो तभी जाके उनको मैसेज आने लगते हैं कि उनके अकाउंट में कुछ भी हो रहा है बैंक अकाउंट में, तो वो उनको मैसेज जा रहा है, हमें मैसेज आ रहा है, या फिर उनके पोर्टल पे वो मैसेज हमें दिख रहा है सेंट्रलाइज पोर्टल पे। एंड अगर एडिशनली कुछ लिखना है किसी एंटिटी को कि भाई एजेंट को कि ये पेमेंट क्यों है, एक्स्ट्रा क्यों आया, एक्सेस क्यों आया, कम क्यों आया, जैसे कि टैक्स अप्लाई होता है, कुछ भी होता है, तो वो एडिशनल मेंशन कर देते हैं। तो ये मैसेजेस हाउ इट्स वर्क। बट ये जो है इंटर ट्रांजैक्शंस है, एक दूसरे को जब भी भेजते हैं, जैसे कि एजेंट बैंक पेमेंट भेजता है, जो रिसीवर है उनके अकाउंट में भेजता है, तो उनको ये मैसेज आते रहते हैं। ठीक है, तो जितने ट्रांजैक्शंस ऐसे बढ़ेंगे उतने नंबर ऑफ मैसेजेस भी बढ़ेंगे। जैसे कि अभी इतनी बार पेमेंट भेजता है तो इतनी बार उसको डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट के अमाउंट के साथ मैसेजेस मिलेंगे, जो भी है। डेबिट है तो डेबिट, क्रेडिट है तो क्रेडिट, क्वांटिटी, जैसे हमने देखा ना क्वांटिटी वगैरह इंपॉर्टेंट है, वही इन्फॉर्मेशन आती रहती है, तो हमें वही देखना है, ढूंढना है। एंड स्नीप ऐसे एक्सेल सीट में लगानी है रीड करके अच्छे से। एंड उसी के बेसिस पे हम लोग रिकॉन भी करते हैं। अगर उसी स्विफ्ट के साथ मैच नहीं हो रहा है, आपका ये पेमेंट ऐसे मैच नहीं हो रहा है, तो रिकॉन करेंगे, रिकनसाइल करेंगे, इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेंगे, रीच आउट करेंगे। बाकी ऐसे एक्चुअली तुम्हें लाइव अकाउंट का एक्सपोजर कहीं नहीं दिया जाएगा कि भाई मुझे, चलो कोई XYZ कंपनी में लाइव अकाउंट ओपन करूंगा उसमें देखूंगा बैलेंस, ऐसा नहीं होता है। क्योंकि यही एक कॉन्फर्मेशन हम, क्योंकि यही बोल रहा है ना कि इतना ही पेमेंट हमने क्रेडिट किया, इतना ही डेबिट किया, इतना ही क्रेडिट किया। जैसे अपने सैलरी का मैसेज है, हम क्या करते हैं, सैलरी का जैसे मैसेज आया तो अगर हमको नहीं लग रहा है कि सैलरी अच्छे से नहीं आया, तो हम फिर जाएंगे कंप्लेन करेंगे कंपनी के साथ कि भाई मेरा सैलरी अच्छे से नहीं आया। दैट इज हाउ इट्स वर्क। ओके, तो वो जो नोट्स मैंने भेज दिया है तो वो पढ़ लेना अच्छे से। एंड देखते हैं, अगर कल उसमें कुछ तुम्हें डाउट्स रहेगा देन यू कैन लेट मी नो, तो हम फिर थोड़ी देर के लिए ज्वाइन होके वो तुम्हारे डाउट्स रिजॉल्व करते हैं। कॉर्पोरेट। हाँ, तो पढ़ना अच्छे से, एंड ये सोच के मत पढ़ना कि तुम्हें कोई ऐसे इन डिटेल्स इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूछेगा, अगर वो पूछ रहा है तो फिर मतलब वो कुछ मतलब नहीं है, बट यस ये नॉलेज के लिए पढ़ना कि कैसे काम क्या होता है, क्या प्रोसेस क्या है क्या नहीं है, ये चीज के लिए। ठीक। Yeah, we'll schedule a mock in, don't worry about it, we'll schedule, because that is what we have discussed lots of things, right? इतनी चीजें हमने कॉर्पोरेट एक्शन के बारे में डिस्कस नहीं की थी, सेशन में नहीं की थी। राइट, सो वी हैव डिस्कस अबाउट इट। लाइव लाइव डिस्कस करना, रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस पे करना वो अलग है। रिकॉर्डेड पे आप एक्टिव रहते हो, एक्टिव नहीं रहते हो। लाइव पे थोड़ा सा एक्टिव रहते हो कि सर क्या बोल रहे हैं, सर क्या बोल रहे हैं। सो दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस ऑल दिस थिंग्स। ठीक है, तो कई सारी चीजें क्लियर हो जाती है, एंड डोंट वरी अगर कुछ चीजें नहीं आती है तो बी जेन्युइन यार। चीजें ऐसे नहीं कि उनको कुछ ऐसे झूठ बोल के हमें सेलेक्ट नहीं होना है, हमें हमारा हुनर दिखाना है। हम क्या करते, देखो मैंने इंडस्ट्री में बोला कि कई सारी इंडस्ट्री है, कौन सी भी इंडस्ट्री में जाओ कुछ चीजें होती है जो बदल नहीं सकते। भले ही अकाउंटिंग का प्लेटफॉर्म चेंज हो, भले ही कुछ रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग सिस्टम है वो चेंज हो, भले ही कुछ, लेकिन अकाउंटिंग के रूल्स तो रूल्स होते हैं, डेबिट और क्रेडिट वही रहेगा, कुछ चेंज नहीं होगा। जो कॉन्सेप्ट कुछ रहेगा, जैसे कि अक्रूड इनकम है कि वही कॉन्सेप्ट रहेगी, बिजनेस एंटिटी कॉन्सेप्ट है वही रहेगी, थोड़ा बहुत चेंज हो सकता है कंट्री वाइज और उनके रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस के वाइज। प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट प्रिपेयर करने का तरीका अलग हो सकता है, लेकिन डेबिट एंड क्रेडिट जो करना है वही करना होता है। जैसे कि लॉस को क्रेडिट नहीं कर सकते और जो क्रेडिट का इनकम है डेबिट नहीं कर सकते। राइट, या फिर जो की चीजें हैं, कोई भी प्रोडक्ट उठाओ, कोई भी प्रोडक्ट उठाओ, मतलब कोई भी उठाओ, जैसे कि इंश्योरेंस उठाओ, चेंज क्या होगा उसमें, क्या ट्रेड डेट उसमें नहीं होगी, सेटलमेंट डेट नहीं होगी, मैच्योरिटी डेट नहीं होगी उसमें, इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट नहीं होगा, वो भी होगा। इक्विटी का उठाओ, इक्विटी में भी वही दिखेगा आपको, ट्रेड डेट, सेटलमेंट डेट, प्राइस, क्वांटिटी, आइजिन, क्यूआर। इसमें चलो डेरिवेटिव उठाओ, डेरिवेटिव में बस एक लॉट नेम चेंज रहेगा, बाकी प्राइस, प्रीमियम, ये सब चीजें तो हमने कहीं ना कहीं पढ़ी और वही चीजें रहेगी उसमें। एफएक्स मार्केट का उठाओ, एक करेंसी के बदले दूसरे करेंसी, उसमें भी ट्रेड रेट मिलेगा, उसमें भी स्पॉट प्राइस, लिमिट प्राइस, मार्केट प्राइस, एक्चुअल प्राइस, यही चीजें मिलेगी, लेकिन है तो रेट ही है वो, कुछ अलग तो है नहीं है। हमारा लेने का नजरिया, मतलब देखने का नजरिया होना चाहिए कि थोड़ा सा सब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए, तो काफी सारी चीजें क्लियर होने लगती है। चलो बॉन्ड का उठाते हैं, बॉन्ड में क्या होगा, बॉन्ड बॉन्ड करके काफी हम चिल्लाते हैं, लेकिन है कुछ नहीं है, वही एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट ही है, उसमें भी ट्रेड डेट होगा, सेटलमेंट डेट होगा, प्राइस होगा। एक तो उसमें भी थोड़े से टाइप्स मिलेंगे, कूपन दे रहा है या फिर जीरो दे रहा है या फिर कुछ और है, डिस्ट्रेस है, कुछ ज्यादा रिस्की है, कम रिस्की है, कन्वर्टिबल है, नॉन कन्वर्टिबल है, यही चीजें होती है। और ये तो सर्विसिंग का पार्ट है अलग से। बद, क्या अलग क्या होगा उसमें, कुछ नहीं। हाँ, लेकिन ये हो सकता है कि जैसे कि एल टू मैच्योरिटी कैलकुलेट करने का थोड़ा सा कैलकुलेशन अलग हो, ये हो, दैट इज नॉर्मल। नॉर्मल, या दैट इज नॉर्मल। तो ये तो अभी सिस्टम इतने हो गए कि ट्रेड रेट, सेटलमेंट डाल दो, बाकी रेट रेशो डाल दो, वो ऑटोमेटिकली कैलकुलेट करके देता है। इंटरव्यूअर का एक्सपेक्टेशन ये नहीं कि पूरी चीजें कैलकुलेट करके ही दे दो मुझे, क्योंकि इतना करोगे तो एक बॉन्ड पे पूरा जाएगा, इसलिए 1 लाख पर मंथ सैलरी कौन देगा वो एक बॉन्ड का सर्विसिंग करने के लिए। ये नहीं है, ये हमें चीजें पता होनी चाहिए, बट काफी सारी चीजें एडवांसमेंट इतनी बहुत ज़्यादा है इंडस्ट्री में, तो हमारा बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम सेव होता है। बट बदलेगा हमारा थोड़ा सा, अगर ये सोचने का जो नज़रिया अगर थोड़ा सा ब्रॉड करे तो सब चीज़ें ऑटोमेटिकली क्लियर होने लगती है ऑटोमेटिकली। राइट, तो डोंट वरी अबाउट एनीथिंग, बी जेन्युइन, जो भी आता है वो अच्छे से बोल दीजिए। जितना हमें, देखो मैंने इंटरव्यू का सही से तुम्हें एक टिक्स बताता हूँ। जरूरी नहीं कि तुम्हें 100 में से, अगर 100 क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं तो 100 में से 100 आंसर्स करने हैं, नहीं, कोई भी नहीं कर पाता। सुंदर पिचाई ने गूगल के इंटरव्यू में पूछा गया तो उनको भी क्वेश्चंस का जवाब नहीं आया था, कई सारे ऐसे होते हैं, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो कैपेबल नहीं है। एंड इंटरव्यूअर भी ये कभी नहीं ढूंढता है कि एक दो सवाल के जवाब नहीं आते तो चलो तुम्हें कुछ नहीं आता है। मुझे जो आता है वो पूछना, वो इंटरव्यू कहा भी। राइट, जो प्रोसेस को रिक्वायर्ड है, बिजनेस को रिक्वायर्ड है, वो पूछो। उसी के चलते अगर कैंडिडेट फ्लेक्सिबल है, इजीली चीजें पिकअप करता है, तो उसको सेलेक्ट होना ही होना है। तो वैसे ही हमें करना है। एक दो अगर सवाल जवाब हमारे गलत जाते हैं तो ठीक है, बट जितने भी मौके मिलेंगे हमको, और जिनके आंसर्स हमें आते हैं उनको कोशिश करो कि और अच्छे से आंसर देने की। ठीक है, चलो प्रिपरेशन करो, and yeah, best of, and note it down if you have any doubts, so we'll discuss that. And we'll schedule a mock interview tomorrow in the morning and we'll discuss, right? Be prepared for that. Chalo. Chalo. Best of luck. Yeah, no worries, man. Take your time. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Chalo. Best of luck.